Hello everybody. It's that time again. It's time for another release video. And this time, it's the darling little librarian. Oh, she's so small, just wait till you see her in a lineup, it'll make so much more sense. Unfortunately, this little librarian won't be in a lineup this video because she's in the hospital getting treated for a horrible disease. There we are, there she is. I really wish I could right click on her there, but anyway. So, what does the librarian do? Well, for starters, she's just a young girl who used to work in a bookshop, categorizing the books, organizing them on the shelves, selling them to the customers, taking in stock, you know, keeping things organized, and that's what she liked. And then one day she found a rather nasty old book full of forbidden secrets and ancient magics and evil forces from other dimensions, and she began to study it and unlock some of its secrets. Now, as she got further into this book, she came to the realization that this could do some serious damage if it fell into irresponsible hands, and so she decided to confiscate the book and keep it all for herself. And she doesn't use it very often, but she still feels the need to. Having heard news of horrific recent events in town, the librarian has returned to the Hamlet in an attempt to help out as best she can. Now, she likes to just sit down, read over the reports of the quests, see what people have done, learn things, absorb it all, you know, nice cozy place by the fire, feet up, you know, warm slippers on. And then people insist on dragging her out to hideous, horrendous, far-fetched locations to do quests, and there's danger and heavy lifting, and she's really not built for it, but she goes along anyway because, you know, some of these people are her friends, and she wouldn't want anything bad to happen to the Hamlet. Now, let's take a look at her skills. Okay, so first off, beat back. Now, the librarian is predominantly a back rank support type character, but for whatever reason, sometimes she'll end up at the front. You know, someone might get knocked back, she might get pulled forwards, party could get shuffled, anything could happen. Or maybe everyone else could die and there'd be only her left, and in any of these situations, she can use her trusty book as a weapon to batter things over the head, give them a solid beating, maybe even stun them or knock them back a bit, and you'll notice that there is a 0% chance to knock herself back 2 spaces as well. Now, this will not increase the skill levels, but it will be improved by some of her trinkets. So you can actually go for a book bashing style if that's what you desire. Next up we have Know Thy Enemy. Now, of course, our little librarian is well versed in anatomy and surgery, and so while she may not be familiar entirely with the anatomy of some of the monsters she may face, she'll have a fairly good idea where all the weak spots are. So this is a mark skill. You know, usual mark a target. The debuff is misleading. It does not buff the target's damage. Instead, it increases the amount of damage the target takes. Unfortunately, I can't get the tooltip to display that, so it'll just show plus damage percent instead of plus damage taken percent. And then there's a nice little effect at the end, which is on most of her support abilities. This skill and all of her other support abilities will increase the amount of experience that the party will gain in terms of resolve experience at the end of a quest, enabling them to level faster. Now, experienced players will know that leveling faster is a pretty bad thing because you want to actually keep your heroes lower level for longer so you can defeat all the bosses, do important quests, and work your way up towards the end goal with, you know, plenty of supplies, lots of heirlooms and gold, you know, to prepare yourself for the endgame rush. Now, unfortunately, during that endgame rush, sometimes a very important hero will die, one that you really cared about, and you'll go, oh. Yeah, it hurts, but you have to get some more, train them up. It takes just as long as it took the first lot, unless you have something like the Librarian to speed up the process a little. So think of her less as driving you through the early game and more as coming in a bit later on to help those new heroes learn a little bit faster. Now, this buff stacks and it lasts till the end of the quest or until the party camps. So on a medium or long mission, you get to ask yourself, am I doing this one just for the experience? Do I want to level quickly, or do I think, hey, these are some pretty nice camping skills there, and I'd like to keep these people alive, thank you very much. So it's all about priorities. You get to choose how much extra experience you want to try and get, or not, as the case may be. Following that, we have Forbidden Chant. This is a skill in which she unleashes evil forces from a book in great waves that wash across the enemies, drastically reducing their damage capacities, and with no chance to inflict blight, unless again she has the right trinkets for the job. And if you do want to go with a trinket that will increase the blight chance of this skill, it's helpful to know that she benefits from the Athenaeum district, if you have the Crimson Court, which of course will increase the chance of her blight skills to deal blight damage, and therefore you could go a total blight build of this character. Next up we have Peace of Mind. It's a single target stress heal, not as much as the Jester does, a little bit more than the Crusader does, but it doesn't affect the light level, it doesn't make people take less stress damage done for the next few turns, it just gives the party a little bit extra resolve experience. Now we have Improvised Tactics. Look, she's got a head jammed full of military theses and historical documents and tales and legends and stories. She's got a pretty good idea what works in a fight. If the torchlight is high, everyone in the party gets accuracy. If the torchlight is low, everyone gets critical hit chance. Those who are particularly badly injured get a big boost to their dodge stats, just to help keep them alive. On the first round, everyone gets a little dodge bonus because you don't know what order people are going to go in the first round. And if it's after the first round, they get a bit of protection because they're looking after themselves a bit better, blocking, taking it on the armour. Oh, and it gives the party extra resolve experience, which is always nice, if you're into that. Tonics and Tinctures is a mixture of herbal medicine and folklore and what little bits of surgical skill that she has picked up from her medical textbooks. It heals a very small amount of health with a potential for no healing whatsoever. It removes blight and bleed, and then it places a small regeneration ability with a short duration on the target. But it does also give extra resolve experience. And finally, her last combat skill is called Clingy and Needy, because sometimes she just wants someone big and tough to hide behind. And that someone big and tough had better be able to actually take a few hits, so they get a block, which is a nice new mechanic introduced by the Shieldbreaker class. However, because they're busy defending themselves, they don't deal quite so much damage, and it is pretty stressful having a 5'0" little girl clinging to your shoulders going, "Please don't let him hit me, sir! Please, sir, please, no, don't!" So, yeah, they get a bit of stress as well. Now, on to camping skills. She gets Encourage, Pep Talk, and Wound Care, because everybody gets those, and then she gets her own unique camping skills, obviously, like all heroes do. Let's start with a good story. With this camping skill, she shares a nice bedtime story to get everyone, to cozy down and relax. And they feel so great the next day that not only have they rested safely, but they're actually a bit more resistant. They're willing to cling to life that little bit more, and they have an increased chance of being virtuous, because she's made them feel very heroic. Now, because of the durations on those buffs, this costs a lot of time units, but it does make it a very powerful camping skill should you wish to use it. Following that, we have Knowledge is Power. With this skill, she shares combat advice with her companions, tells them how to fight better, how to be better. She advises them as to what the layout of the dungeon might be, so they gain bonuses to accuracy with range skills and an increased scouting chance, because she really likes finding secret rooms. Extra critical hit chance with any attacks. Oh, it even affect healing actually. Oh, but they do get a bit of stress because it is unnerving knowledge for secrets and information she tells them. Following that, we have soothing chatter. This is a nice little game she likes to refer to as the truth room, where she'll sit down with one companion and they'll have a nice, honest, face-to-face friendly conversation. You know, this means that the person benefiting from it will take less stress for the next few battles, and it will also remove mortality debuffs from them, because hey, you know, things aren't that bad and they'll have cheered up a bit and feel a bit better. And then finally we have a riddle to solve, which has 3 different effects, and they should all be separate. So she'll share riddles and ask riddles around the campfire, including, you know, all the famous ones like, what have I got in my pocket? String or nothing? You know the ones. Yeah. Well, those who solve the riddle quickly get a little bit of stress removed. Those who take their time and enjoy it and think about it and, you know, relish the challenge benefit in a greater manner and gain even more stress removal. However, those who fail to solve the riddle, well, they get frustrated and grumpy, and this makes them a little more susceptible to stress, so they get kind of stressed out that everyone else is laughing at them and calling them ninnies or something. Well, there we have the Librarian. By the time you see this video, she should hopefully be released, and I will have links to the Steam Workshop release and the Nexus release in the video description below. I hope you all enjoyed this one, and I'll see you on the next one. Bye bye for now.